All right, let's talk about something that happens to all of us. That feeling when you're facing a super complex topic and your brain just short circuits. But what if I told you there's a simple secret to understanding pretty much anything? Well, today we're gonna unlock it.
You know that feeling, right? You're trying to learn some new software for work, or maybe you're trying to wrap your head around a science concept, or even just a financial plan, and it's just too much. Your brain feels like it hits a brick wall and just kind of shuts down.
And this, right here, is why. It feels like you're standing in front of this huge, unbreakable wall of technical terms, confusing details, and just jargon. It is so frustrating, and let's be honest, it can make you feel like you're just not smart enough to get it. But that is absolutely not true.
See, the problem isn't you, it's the approach we take. Most of us, well, we've been taught to learn things in a way that's kind of backwards, especially when it comes to the complicated stuff. This is the classic trap. We dive straight into all the tiny, complicated little details. We get lost in the weeds before we even take a second to look up and see what the whole forest looks like. And when you do that, you've got no context, you have no map, and that's why everything just feels like a big, confusing mess.
So this really lays it all out. The flawed approach, the one most of us use, is trying to memorize all those tiny details right from the start. That's a highway to frustration. But the secret? It's taking that other path, finding the one simple core idea first. That little switch is everything.
And this is where we find our answer. I like to call it the bicycle moment. You know, that single aha instant that just turns all that confusion into crystal clear understanding.
Just think about it for a second. When you were a kid learning to ride a bike, nobody sat you down with a PowerPoint on gyroscopic forces and Newtonian physics. No way. That would have been ridiculous, right? You just got on, you felt the main idea of pedal and balance, and you just did it. The deeper stuff could come later, but the simple action, that came first. So that's what the bicycle moment is. It's that one simple, fundamental truth that sits at the very heart of any complex topic. It's the main point, the core reason that all those other complicated details even exist. Your mission, really, is just to find that one thing first. So, how do you actually find it? Well, it's not magic, it's a process. And lucky for us, it's a super simple 3-step method you can use on literally anything. That's it, just 3 simple steps. That's all that's standing between you and getting it. So let's break them down.
Here we go. First, you ask why. Second, you find the Lego blocks. And third, you use the story time rule. Sounds easy enough, right? Because it is. Let's walk through an example to really see how it works.
Okay, let's take something that sounds really intimidating. The internal combustion engine. Now, forget the pistons, crankshafts, all that jazz for a minute. We start with the most important question of all. Why? What problem is this thing actually trying to solve? The answer is so simple, it's almost funny. It exists to make a car move. Period. That's its purpose. And that ridiculously simple idea, that becomes your mental anchor. Everything else will now make sense in relation to that. Okay, on to step 2. We just need to identify the basic components, the Lego blocks. We're not worried about how they fit together yet. We're just naming the main characters in our story. For an engine, the most basic blocks are a piston, a cylinder to put it in, and some fuel. Simple. And now for step 3. This is where the magic happens. Story time. We connect our Lego blocks to our why. A tiny explosion pushes the piston down, which makes the wheels turn, and boom. It's not a list of parts anymore, it's a simple story that explains how we make the car move. No jargon, just clarity. Once you get the hang of this 3-step process, it's not just some learning hack. It honestly feels like you've unlocked a new superpower. You can approach any complex topic with total confidence.
Because this is really what it all boils down to. True understanding isn't about memorizing the most facts. It's about being able to weave those facts into a story that makes sense. It's about being the best storyteller, even if the only person you're telling that story to is yourself.
So, the next time you're staring down something that feels just impossible to understand, remember this little mantra. Just stop, ask why it exists, find the most important Lego blocks, and then tell yourself a simple story that connects them all together. You're gonna be amazed at how fast the complex becomes simple. So, I have to ask you, what's the one thing you're gonna try and simplify next? What's that topic that's been bugging you? Give this a shot. You've totally got this.